kind of let you, I've been letting people do their own introductions because I'm ill prepared, but we've got Miho Welton here from the Alaskan Division of Forestry, the inventory forester. And she's going to talk a little bit about regeneration following bark beetle outbreaks. So I'll turn it over to you.
Well, thank you, Clay, and thanks for the opportunity to talk today. Yeah, Miho Morimoto Welton. I'm the statewide inventory forester with the Division of Forestry and Bioprotection. Most of you probably know Doug Hansen. He was the previous statewide inventory forester. So yeah, today I'm going to talk about reforestation after spruce beetle outbreak in South Central Alaska. Clay gave me 45 minutes, but my presentation is only like 20 minutes. So please feel free to ask questions as I go. First, I want to talk a little bit about the spruce outbreak. The first couple slides were prepared by Jason Moen, the Forest Health Program Manager of the DOF. So this graphic shows the statewide beetle damage by year, excluding 2020 because of the COVID. So the left side is the 1990s outbreak, and the right side is the current outbreak. So if you can click, in 2022, they observed about 49,000 acres of damage. And so, with nearly 100% of that in the outbreak area. So this is the lowest level during these surveys since 2015, the year before the outbreak was first detected. So this map shows the beetle damage. So since 2016, when the outbreak was first documented, cumulatively, it has impacted 1.86 million acres. The outbreak has declined considerably across the region, but there's still outbreak level activity going on in two main locations, near Cantwell and on the northern Kenai Peninsula. So most of you probably know, but how did they get this outbreak map? So next, please. So yeah, it's by the aerial surveys. So aerial surveys are the main method by which they document forest and insect issues. These surveys are conducted jointly by the U.S. Forest Service, Forest Health Protection, and Alaska DOF Forest Health Program. So surveys typically cover 25 to 30 million acres statewide annually, which is about 15% of the state's forest land. But recently, the surveys it's only covering about 50 million acres. So the coverage is limited. And the outbreak looks like this from the air. So it looks like there's a lot of dead spruce, but you can't really tell like how many trees are dead or what's growing back in these outbreak areas. So to look at these, the more details, we are assessing effects of spruce beetle outbreak on the ground, including severity and extent of mortality, residual forest composition, which is the reforestation aspect of this presentation, and then the landscape patterns of the infestation and the rate of decay in dead trees to see the marginability of the spruce beetle killed trees. And we are using the permanent sample plots established by University of Alaska Fairbanks for the Cooperative Alaska Forest Inventory. Next, please. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about the Cooperative Alaska Forest Inventory, or CAFI. So it was originally part of the Growth and Yield program at University of Alaska Fairbanks. They were measuring it at a 5-year interval and measured up to 5 times between 1994 and 2015. The plots were last measured by UIF between 2011 and 15. But unfortunately, they discontinued the program. So DOF took it over in 2020, and now it is a collaboration between UIF and DOF. And to make it more feasible and sustainable, we are planning on 10-year interval moving forward. Next, please. Back one.
I need to go back.
Yeah. Yeah, so there was a map of the plot location, but this is the plot in the South Central, and so over the cumulative spruce beetle damage in. So there are CAFI plotter like about 200 plots across the road accessible area of the state. And there are about 50 plots in the South Central region where the spruce beetle outbreak is going on. So in the last 2 years, we measured 18 and 6 plots, ranging from the Kenai up to around Denali area. And this summer, we are planning on measuring about 18 plots, and again, widely ranging from the south on the Kenai up to Denali area. Next, please. So just a little bit about the methods. So the CAFI uses 3.1 acre square subplots per plot. And we measure trees 1.5 inch or larger in dBH. And the main variables we measure are listed here. Next, please. So a little more specific methods for the spruce beetle damage assessment. So if the tree was either white spruce or black spruce, we first determine if the tree was attacked by bark beetle. So if the tree was attacked, then we determine the attack progression. So the first 2 green attacked trees, those still have green needles. And then the rest are dead. So the first 2 are considered still alive. That does not necessarily mean they're still alive, I think, but that's how we categorize at the time of assessment. And then we decide which species of bark beetle attacked the tree. So most of them are attacked by spruce beetle, but some of them are actually attacked by other species, including ips. So if the tree was attacked by spruce beetle, then we use the severity, the upper severity class. So for the green attacked trees, we use the first 3 categories. If the tree was if the severity was either minor or strip attack, the tree might survive. But if the tree was mass attacked, and even if it's green, still green attacked and has green needles, it's most likely going to die. Next, please. So the
I think it necessary.
Oh, okay.
I have a question while we pause. Perfect, thank you. One of your categories there said active fade on your spruce categories. Do you see many trees in that stage? Because I know that they often go from green attack, second year, to no needles very quickly. So I'm wondering if you actually get many trees in that category, and what the purpose of that category is if you don't get many trees in it. Is it something you've thought about removing, or is it just consistency in data?
So I can't remember 100%, but I don't think you have any active data. So you're right. But this category was established by Jason Moon, the first health expert, and I'm sure he has seen active data. And yeah, I think most of the trees were most of the trees were fine ground trees. So only if you go to the plot in the spring, then you'll see some the previous category. Can't remember.
Green second year or whatever.
No, in between activator and wait, no, I think those are activators. Yeah, if you go out to the plot like room in the spring, then you'll probably find some.
I think only an entomologist could distinguish a couple of those accurately, but I don't think that you can. It's all that it affects the greatest.
Thank you.
It's not. Thanks.
Yeah, so the main question was, if all the spruce were killed by spruce beetle. Well, as you can see in this photo, no, there are spruce still alive, even in a plot like this where most of the trees are dead. So this graphic shows the number of trees previous to the outbreak and how many of those were white spruce and how many of those white spruce were attacked or dead. So these are per acre numbers. So previous to the outbreak, about 1/3 of the trees was white spruce, 154 per acre. And then 45 of that was attacked by spruce beetle, and then 39 were killed. But like I said earlier, some of the green attacked trees are considered alive, but probably most likely going to die. So the number of the dead trees will be likely a little bit higher than that. So pretty close to the number of trees attacked. Next, please. Yeah, I guess the point was that there is still quite a bit of white spruce alive in the landscape. And this figure shows the numbers of white spruce by DBH classes. So the left bar is the pre-outbreak number and the right one is the post-outbreak. So as you can see, the numbers of white spruce smaller than 4 inches in DBH are about the same, but like larger spruce, especially like DBH larger than 10 inch, they're almost all gone. So the size class has definitely shifted from the larger size class to smaller size class. Next, please. And this shows the volume per acre. So from each cycle of inventory, most plots were measured 4 times. So the right one is the post-outbreak, and the left 3 are from the pre-outbreak. So as you can see, the white spruce volume has decreased substantially. So about 20% of the pre-outbreak level now. The overall volume hasn't decreased that much, especially if you compare that to the data from 2001 and 3. But still, the white spruce is obviously the main commercial species, so the impact is pretty substantial. Next, please. One back. So these figures show the percentage of white spruce attacked by spruce beetle and the success rate of spruce beetle attack by DVH classes. So the left one is showing the percentage of white spruce attacked by spruce beetle by DVH classes. So the larger trees, especially like 10 inches and larger, they were like 90% or more trees were attacked. But the smaller trees, only like even 50% or less trees were attacked by spruce beetle. But the right one, once the tree was attacked, most like larger trees, 8 inches and larger, they were all killed by spruce beetle, and even the smaller trees were more likely to be killed by spruce beetle once they're attacked. Next, please. And then, sorry, can you go back? One other thing you can see here is that the pink is from the key plots on the Kenai, and then the green is from the Matsu region, and we saw much fewer attack on the Kenai, and Jason and I talked about this, but we don't really know why that is. So if you know or have any hypothesis, let me know. Next, please. And then these are looking at the plot level result. So the left one is showing the percentage of white spruce on the plot compared to the white spruce percentage of white spruce attacked by spruce beetles. So when the plot has more spruce, then the more white spruce was attacked, which makes sense because there's trees, white spruce nearby, so it's easier for spruce beetle to attack trees. And then the right one is showing the mean DVH on the plot compared to white spruce attacked by spruce beetle. So again, we already saw that larger white spruce are more likely to be attacked. So it makes sense that if the mean DVH on a plot is larger, then more spruce was attacked. Next, please. So this is like looking at pretty similar things, but each dot in the map is the plot. So the redder the plot, the more white spruce was attacked. And then the symbol size is proportionate to white spruce basal area. So more spruce beetle attack was seen in the plot with more white spruce in terms of basal area. And then more spruce beetle attack was seen in the northern region compared to the Kenai. Next, please. Okay, so the last thing is the decay assessment. So I don't really have good results from this part yet, but we assessed 19 trees from 4 plots and used visual assessment and knife test at 0, 4, 8, and 12 foot sections. So we observed decay in 18 out of 19 trees, but most of the decay was only a trace amount. And decay was mostly observed only in the lower 4 foot section. But we observed blue stain in all but 1 tree, and that was pretty much throughout the tree from 0 foot to 12 feet. Next, please. So in conclusion, white spruce regeneration appears to be abundant, but it will likely take a while for them to grow and become marginable and become the dominant component in the landscape. Next, please. So yeah, I'd like to thank everyone who provided support to the program. Next, please. And since my presentation is very short, I want to just talk a little bit about other projects going on. So currently, the biggest one is the Inter-Alaska FIA. And then the CAFI, I already talked about it, but we are measuring not just the South Central plots, but also the plots outside of that to just continue the program. And then, so birch regeneration survey, this is, I'm looking at regeneration after birch harvest on the Tanana Valley State Forest, and also trying to see if we could use a drone to kind of complement the regeneration survey. And then I am starting a new project, which is also funded by Evaluation and Monitoring Program. So we'll be remeasuring FIA plots on Bonanza Creek Experimental Forest and Caribou Polka Creek Research Watershed. And the main focus is the forest health component, and we are using the multi-scale approach. So we will be measuring the on the ground, but NASA flew G-Light again over those plots last summer. Forest Service and University of Washington crew will be doing terrestrial laser scanning data collection this summer too. So we'll be using all these different data set to do the study. And then we're remeasuring the Fort Wainwright forest inventory plots. Also, we recently remeasured levels of growing stocks plots, which was were established by UIF, I think in 1980s and 90s in Bonanza Creek and in Tok. And then there's some data available online. So forest inventory on state lands, those are available on ArcGIS online. And then I've compiled John Alden's exotic tree plantations data. So that should be available on ArcGIS online sometime soon as well. Okay, that's all.
One thing you mentioned that you observed.
Sorry, I'm gonna run Mike back and forth for the virtual folks. Yeah.
All right. This is a curiosity question out of more than anything. I noticed in that you observed in the dead trees a blue stain. I've never heard of that. What does that mean? What causes it?
I think it's the
So it's like the spruce beetle chemical, like that causes the.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's ceratocystis is the fungus that the bark beetle carries around with it. It gets into the wood. And they successfully were selling it for a while as blue stained pine down south.
But that it decreases the value.
Pardon?
It decreases the value of
Well,
the
they
thing.
marketed it where they were selling it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
One of the great ironies of
Hmm.
forestry. Or sell it.
It's very easy. Back in the 1980s in Colorado, when they had the big bark beetle infestation, they were marketing a blue stain pine handling, and people were just going crazy.
Oh, that's one.
They got it in my house.
Hmm. Wow.
Any other questions? Back here.
So first of all, a confession, I was around in the 1980s when they marketed that blue stain, so that dates me. My question, Miho, is carbon offsets are becoming increasingly of interest. What's the ability of FIA to support baseline estimates for carbon offset projects statewide?
I yeah, so I have talked with California Air Resources Board about like Inter-Alaska entering into their, market, and they seem to be interested. And one of the reasons why we wanted to remeasure the FIA plots was to look at the feasibility of carbon, credit trading using the FIA data, but they need the remeasurements data. So that's the big hurdle, because they are right now looking at like 30-year remeasurement cycle, but also they're looking to redesign the FIA to shorten that, remeasurement cycle.
Another question. Okay.
If we need to fill out time, I'm going to ask a lot of questions that everyone in this room probably knows the answer to. So this bark beetle, does it not attack black spruce, only white spruce? It does, but
White spruce is the preferred species,
Mhm.
and we didn't see much, well, we didn't see much.
because black spruce is the scruffy little stuff that nobody cares about. Okay. I think I had another question, but I forgot it.
Any other questions? That looks like nothing online. I don't know. So,
No, just complaining about not being able to hear.
oh, okay. Bark beetles chew on black spruce was the answer there. Okay, well, we're done a little bit early with this talk. And we'll take a break until 2:45, then we'll have Jeremy. And that's going to be our last presenter for today before the SAF business meeting, the executive committee meeting. So yeah, we'll be back here at 2:45.